Hi guys, this is Math 109, M1, Algebra and Trig, Review Exam 2, Question 5, the last hard question, and this is part 2 of that. And to do so, I've already reduced this guy to a quadratic roots problem. And I'm going to use the quadratic formula to solve this problem. The quadratic formula is minus b plus or minus the square root, I'll grab a square root symbol, of b squared minus 4ac, that whole thing divided by 2a. That's the quadratic formula. So, to use the quadratic formula, I got to recognize a, which is the x squared term, minus 27, b, the x term, which is 9, and c, the constant, which is 14. Now I just plug them into the quadratic formula. So minus b becomes minus 9, and we get plus or minus, and I'm going to just copy this guy and plug in. This is going to turn into 9 squared, or 81. 9 times 9. And then I'll plug in, this is minus 4 times a, which is times minus 27, times c, which is 14. And this guy inside the square root is called the discriminant. And if it's positive, which it's going to be because minus a minus is a plus, that means there are real roots to this quadratic. There aren't always. Sometimes the roots are imaginary. And some of your exams will have real roots, and some of your exams will have imaginary roots. And we divide that whole thing by 2 times negative 27, which is going to be, 2 times minus 27. And now, 2 times minus 27 is minus 54. So to simplify that, I'm just using the calculator built into OneNote now, 4, and I'll just plug in this little thing, and that's going to give me the discriminant, which is 1593. So my answer, this formula is going to give me, I'm going to first do, and I'm going to break this up into a plus or minus. So we're going to start with wrong parenthesis, minus 9. Get the right, divided by minus 54, plus or minus the square root of 1593. And we don't have to say minus 54 because we're plus or minusing it, so we can just say 54. Now, I can, minus 9 goes into minus 54 6 times, so that becomes, similarly, this just becomes 1/6. and plus or minus this guy. Now, in actual fact, 1593 is divisible by 9. So you don't have to do this. This can be a perfectly valid answer. I'll accept that on an exam. I don't expect you. But if I want to be strictly all about getting the answer to these problems, I can set that equal. Okay, I can take out oh, come on. We go back in, set it equal to, okay, where am I? Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. I don't know where I am. Equal to, okay, 1/6 plus or minus the square root of 9 times 177 divided by minus divided by 54, which in turn will simplify to take the 9 out as a 3. This becomes 3. So remember, we square rooting this, so this becomes the square root of, and then we divide the 3 into 54 to get 18. So this becomes 1/6 plus or minus the square root of 177 divided by 18. Now you can factor 177 further, but it becomes 3 times 59, which is not very interesting. So this is in lowest, this is with the square root maximally reduced in a useful way. So this is the ultimate answer. But this will get you, this answer gets you 30 points. And that is all the review questions.